Well. The day has finally come. The list for the top 30 for the Ballon d'Or are out, along with the Club of the Year, Manager of the Year, and Best Young Player in the Kopa Trophy, the Yachine Trophy for the Keeper of the Year, and I believe it's the Johan Cruyff Trophy for the Manager of the Year. We'll go through it one by one. I'll give my thoughts, and in later videos, I'll probably go and go and say how I think things are going to finish, who I think is going to win what, etc., so on and so forth. But before we get onto that, as you guys can most likely see, we're in a slightly different environment this time around. I'm back in Canada, going to be here for the next 3 weeks or so not going to be in the usual studio. So you guys are going to be seeing the usual setup, but it's okay. The grind continues. But getting on to the actual meat and potatoes of it. So first and foremost, let's list off the nominees for the Ballon d'Or. So in the order that was given by France Football, you have Jude Bellingham, 𝙀𝙊𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙀𝙀, Jean-Louis Donnarumma, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙀𝙀𝙀, Denzel Dumfries, 𝙎𝙊𝙾𝙄𝑼𝙋𝙀𝙀, 𝙀𝙪𝙨𝙞𝙀𝙀𝙀, Erling Haaland, Achraf Hakimi, Harry Kane, 𝘾𝙃 Robert Lewandowski, Alexis McAllister, Lautaro Martinez, Kylian Mbappe, Scott McTominay, Nuno Mendes, João Neves, 𝙋𝙀𝙖𝙆𝘾𝙀𝙀, Cole Palmer, Pedri, Rafinha, Declan Rice, Fabian Ruiz, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Vinicius Jr., Vitinha, Florian Wirtz, and Lamine Yamal. Going on to the other things, the 5 nominees for the Club of the Year, you've got Barca, you've got Botafogo from Brazil, Chelsea, Liverpool, and PSG. For the Coach of the Year, you've got Antonio Conte, Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, Enzo Maresca, Arne Slot. And for the Yachine Trophy, for the Best Keeper Awards, you've got Alisson Becker, Yacine Bono, 𝙀𝙀𝙀𝘿𝘾𝙀𝙀, Thibaut Courtois, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Emiliano Martinez, Jan Oblak, David Raya, Matt Sells, Jan Sommer. And finally, for the Kopa Trophy, you've got Aïd Bouhadi, Pau Cubarsí, Désiré Doué, Estevão, Dean Huijsen, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Rodrigo Moura, João Neves, Lamine Yamal, and Kenan Yildiz. Right. Whew. A lot to talk about. And I think we need to talk about the Ballon d'Or itself. And before we go on and talk about things, who shouldn't be here, this, that, and the other, obviously I'm as a PSG fan. PSG break the record, the all-time record for the most players nominated for a single Ballon d'Or in the top 30 list with 9 players. Ousmane Dembélé, Hakimi, João Neves, Jean-Louis Donnarumma, Désiré Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz were all nominated for it, which is a record. I believe they beat, Madrid back in 2018, had 8 players. I know that Liverpool in 2019 had 7. But all I know is that PSG have the record for the most nominees for a single Ballon d'Or, which is good. We're history breakers. But to get on to the meat and potatoes of it, despite PSG having the most, guys, there are some flagrant misses on this list. Flagrant ones. And the thing is, obviously, there's always going to be these issues with the Ballon d'Or. They're always going to have somebody's not going to be able to make the list, right? There's only 30 players. You can't have everybody there. But I'm sorry. When you look at some of the people that were here and the seasons they had, you got... When we say PR plays into this, PR flipping plays into this. And guys, I'm sorry, I can say this, that, and the other. I have to start with my own club. First and foremost, outside of my club, outside of PSG specifically, how is it that there is only a single center back in the top 30? Like, I know, listen, voila, football, the things that sells tickets, the things that I guess people glued to the TV is not, massive clearances, goal line clearances. As good as they are, that's not, draws you in. It's goals, it's the dribbling, it's this, that, and that. Okay, I get that. But the fact that you've got, a single center back, and that center back, the only one there is Virgil van Dijk. Guys, come on. Like, I think, don't get me wrong, Virgil van Dijk was excellent this season. But you also have to put into context. Virgil van Dijk, yes, great Premier League campaign, won the Premier League, great. But apart from that, with his team, that was it. How, and this is where I get for my first PSG player, how is Willian Pacho not here? This guy makes his first ever appearance in a Champions League campaign. Gets not a single caution, not a single yellow card in the Champions League. Statistically is the best defender. Best. And this guy's nowhere to be found. How the heck is someone like a Bastoni, nowhere to be found? How is it that How is it that the two center backs that made it into the team of the season for the UCL are nowhere to be found on this list? How? I don't know what the journalists in there when they were going and voting on, eliminating people for the top three. How did this not go across their mind? And I'm sorry, yes, of course, as I said previously, football definitely has, it's very attacker bias. And there's a natural aspect of, that's what sells tickets. But guys, come on. Bastoni, not in there. Pacho, not in there. What more do they need to do? What more? Even Pacho, you could say, PSG, so on and so forth, they lost their final game. Pacho wasn't there. Now, I'm not saying that if Pacho's there, Pacho was not there. So you could, if you want to use the argument of, how important this player is, the game that Pacho is not there is when PSG gets absolutely smacked. How is Pacho not in this team? He won everything he possibly could. And the one game that he wasn't participating in, or the biggest, most important game, was that final against Chelsea. And is it a coincidence PSG also lost and looked probably terribly defensively? I don't know. Every goal came from his side. I don't know. How Patro's not. I'm not saying this guy should be, top 5. I'm just saying he should be top 30. Is that too much to ask for? Bastoni, same thing. And now this is where we need to start. This is where we need to start going. And this is where I start putting into question. How is 𝙊𝙾𝘾𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙏, how is he not in this list? How is he not in this list? Bradley Barcola, I think this season finished with 41 GA. 41 GA. Even if you want to take this thing, attacker bias, fine, this, no issues. How is Barcola not in this list? How is somebody like Vinicius Jr. in this list? How is somebody like Vinny Jr., who, yes, had a good start to the season from August to, we'll say, December, so on and so forth. But afterwards, he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. You can say, Barcola, by the end of the season, wasn't, Barcola, yes, maybe he wasn't starting most games, but this guy was your first man off the bench every single time. You want big moments? He's got him. Assist in the Champions League final. He started in the second leg against Arsenal. Has the most assists in Big 2025 of any player in Europe. The most assists, more than Yamal, more than Rafinha, more than Salah, more than anybody out there. The most assists in 2025. If I'm not mistaken, is the PSG player with the most minutes over the course of the season. A crucial part to our season. The player who basically started off our revolution in the Champions League. His nutmeg on Matheus Nunes and that subsequent assist for Dembele, what saves our Champions League campaign. And then his subsequent goal to equalize. How is he not in this list? Make it make sense. How is somebody like Vinny Jr. on this list? I'm sorry. This is that disgusting Madrid PR. Vinny, how is Vinny on this? How is Jude Bellingham on this list? How is Jude Dogligham at this point? We're done. How is Jude Dogligham on this list? Liga, I have nothing against them personally, but this is what I mean. This is that disgusting Madrid PR. I might say Barcelona and Madrid, the PR of these two teams is absolutely disgusting. There's even other players there. Listen, big respect to some of these players. Florian Wirtz. Listen. I know, voila, he's not at Liverpool, so on and so forth. But guys, his last season wasn't crazy. It wasn't crazy. It was a far cry from what he did last year. Finished, second in the Bundesliga. Got knocked out the first round of the Champions League. Had a good season, yes, but top 30. Come at me, look me eye to eye and tell me, how can you tell me that Florian Wirtz had a better season than Bradley Barcola? Honestly, you know what? I think at this point, people are going to say, Junior, why are you so angry? Your club has gotten the record for the most ever appearances of players by a single club in the Ballon d'Or with 9 players. Listen, just because you give me candy and try to sweep me and whatnot doesn't mean I can't recognize, disgustingness and fugaziness. Just because you give me a candy doesn't give me the right to spit it out. Bradley Barcola needs to be in this list. 𝙊𝙾𝘾𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙏, 𝙊𝙾𝘾𝘾𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙏, on top of all the stuff that he's going in now, and he's receiving all the Liverpool stuff coming. Low-key, Bradley Barcola is underrated. Dare I say, with Bradley Barcola, as much as I love some of the people on my team, Bradley Barcola deserves to be in this list more than 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝑔𝙬𝘼. For me, he had a better season than 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝑔𝙬𝘼 and 𝘋𝙪𝙨. Both of them. How they're not on this list, I don't understand. Yo no sé. Je ne comprends pas. C'est une dinguerie ce qui s'est passé. Wesh. But moving on, I said Jude Bellingham shouldn't be on this list. Dembele, yes. Donnarumma, yes. 𝙬𝙬 yes. Denzel Dumfries, listen, even though I had a good, cheeky, leg against, whatchamacallit? Cheeky leg against Barca. Oh, Liga, come on. For those 2 goals, so on and so forth, he had a good campaign with Inter, so on and so forth. He shouldn't be on this list. Especially given that Bastoni, his teammate's not here. Les gars, arrêtons. Victor Gyökeres, I get that. Erling Haaland. Should he be in this list? Didn't finish top scorer in the Premier League. He's not the most entertaining player to watch. City had a pretty abysmal season. Why is he on this list? Hakimi, no issues. Harry Kane, I get it. Kvaratskhelia, 100% I get it. Robert Lewandowski should be there. McAllister, Belek. But okay, I get that. I get McAllister. Lautaro Martinez, man. This one, I'm sorry, I know, obviously, Inter, they went far and so on and so forth, and I think they don't get me wrong, you can't just, because of that final against PSG, you can't just, completely change their season. But Lautaro Martinez was their best player. Lautaro Martinez, if I'm not mistaken, is the only Inter player here. Martinez over, no, Dumfries is there. Kylian Mbappe makes sense. Scott McTominay, that player of the season, no issues. Nuno Mendes, João Neves, no issues. Mikel Olise, no issues. Cole Palmer. I think I'm okay with. I think his Club World Cup campaign and that Conference League, I think he's deserved it. I don't have an issue. Pedri, no issue. Rafinha, no issue. Declan Rice, Jollof Rice, Basmati Rice. Hey, Mr. I score 2 free kicks against 𝙀𝙬𝙬𝙬. Mr. Set Play, Free Kick FC. What is he doing on this list? He's not even the best midfielder in the Prem. Get this nonsense out of here. Caicedo should be in over him. Wesh, Liga. Declan Rice, Mr. I scored 2 free kicks. I thought things were bad enough when he made it into the UCL team of the season. Now all of a sudden, he's in it for the Ballon d'Or top 30. Top 30 players this season. Again, I have nothing against Declan Rice, but he should not be in this list. Mo Salah, no issues. Virgil van Dijk, no issues. Vinny Jr., I already talked about it. The thing with Vinny Jr., it's hard because he had if you don't go off of Vinny's standards we avoided last year, I think he could definitely be here. But the issue though is the fact that, I don't know, you go and you look, when someone like a Barcola, he's not here. People like Julian Alvarez is not here. Vitinha, no issues. Florian Wirtz. Again, I think that's some of that Liverpool PR. That disgusting Prem PR. If this guy had stayed at Leverkusen, he's not on this list. He's not on the top 30. At some point, we need to call a spade a spade. And Lamine Yamal, no issues. Funny though, if you guys go and you look at the Ballon d'Or nominee list, Lamine Yamal, funnily enough, is the only one who has both of his names. It's all bolded. I don't know. I think because maybe I don't want to look too much into it. I think Lamine Yamal, if you go and you look, Lamine Yamal is actually his first name. His full name is Lamine Yamal 𝙀𝙖𝙀𝘿𝘾𝑝𝑖𝙎. So listen, I'm okay with it, but it's a bit interesting. Voilà. Conspiracies are beginning, but that's it. That's basically it for Ballon d'Or again. PSG have the most, record the record for the most ever Ballon d'Or nominees in a single season with 9. And honestly, I think the only thing is that they were scared they couldn't put all 11 players because the optics don't look good. Because realistically, Pacho should be in here and Barcola needs to be in here. Marquinhos, I heard people go and say, listen, I love Marquinhos. Marquinhos, low key, probably my in terms of legends at the club, #1 PSG legend. But this season, I can understand why he's not in the list. However, Pacho and Barcola need to be on this list. And I'm not up for the debate. I am not up for the debate. The moment where you go and you take 4 trophies, we're in a final in the other, had the season they had, Pacho being the best defender in the Champions League, in my opinion. Barcola, most assists in Big 2025, Big 41 GA. And we're saying, this is Barcola who you go and you say, this guy doesn't have good finishing. Les gars, je le dis maintenant, mais gars, hear me. If Barcola improves his finishing, this guy could be top 3 Ballon d'Or easily. Easily. If you're not happy, voilà, cash me how about that? But yeah, apart from that, everybody else that's there, it makes sense. Again, the Ballon d'Or is always going to have issues, scandals, so on and so forth. It was a bit weird, the manner in which they did so. But hey, it is what it is. All right, now to go and talk about the other awards. The next one that they have is the Men's Club of the Year. So the nominees are FC Barcelona, Botafogo, Chelsea, Liverpool, and PSG. And I think honestly, overall, I think it's a pretty fair assessment. Barcelona, domestic treble, Champions League semi-finalists, even though I've criticized, the Champions League campaign, you can't take it away. At the end of the day, you can only beat the teams in front of you, and they did so. So Barcelona's deserved to be there. Botafogo, best Brazilian team, won the Serie A there, won the Copa Libertadores. Again, we can't have this, as I said previously, this European bias, so on and so forth. Deserve to be in here. No issues there. Chelsea, I mean, it's hard to go after they've won the FIFA Club World Cup, beating my team PSG. I think on top of also then winning the Conference League, I think it's fair that they're here as well. Liverpool, similar thing, won the Premier League, dominant there. We're a penalty away from beating PSG, and then obviously PSG is there. I think this one there's very little debate. PSG should win this pretty comfortably, just by the fact that the season they had, winning quadruple, being in the final of the Club World Cup. On top of, I'm not sure how this award specifically is voted upon, but I think, or I've heard potentially that it's based on how many nominees your team has, and also the collective amount of points your team gets in the Ballon d'Or ranking. So when they're gonna vote for the Ballon d'Or and whatnot, the team that has the highest total wins it. I'm not sure how it works and whatnot, but I think this is gonna be probably of all the awards, probably the easiest clean sweep. PSG should win this award. The next one is for the men's Johan Cruyff Trophy, which is the best manager of the year. You have Antonio Conte, Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, Enzo Maresca, and Arne Slot. Again, this one, great managers. Antonio Conte helping Napoli to win the Scudetto. Enzo Maresca with Chelsea, the Club World Cup, the Conference League, young teams, so on and so forth. No issues. Arne Slot taking over a Liverpool team with only really making one signing, being able to do all they did. Taking over from the legacy of Klopp, great season. Hansi Flick taking over a Barca that can't make signing, can't register players, have little money to spend, have a 17-year-old, 35-year-old up front, and Rafinha, somebody who was at Leeds a couple years ago, wanted to reject him, getting them to a semifinal of the Champions League and domestic treble, no issues. But guys, I'm sorry. With all that said, I've already heard some discourse about this thing that, Hansi Flick, Luis Enrique can never do this. I am sorry. If this award does not go to Luis Enrique, the game is dead. Again, the game is dead. A treble, a quadruple. Again, people go and say, this is, if you want to go and say, Luis Enrique's first real year with the project where he can have his team of choice. Remember, this is only his second year at PSG. The previous season, Luis Enrique had the exact same season that Hansi Flick had last season. Won a domestic treble. Semifinals of the Champions League. No one gave him gas. No one gave him gas. Now, as soon as Hansi Flick does it, now, whoa, he needs to win it. Now, Luis Enrique does the exact same thing he did before and wins the Champions League. And we're saying, no, Hansi Flick. Listen, big respect to Hansi Flick. Massive respect for what he did. It's a tremendous achievement. But guys, I am sorry. Luis Enrique needs to win this hands down, and Hansi Flick can come in second. But the rest of it, sort that among yourselves, but Luis Enrique needs to win this award. Next, going over to the Yachine Trophy, you got Alisson Becker, Yacine Bono, 𝙀𝙀𝘿𝘾𝘼𝙎, Thibaut Courtois, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Emiliano Martinez, Jan Oblak, David Raya, Matt Sells, and Jan Sommer. And I think this award and this trophy overall, I think it's where you go and see, or maybe it's every single year, but I think it's looking at the list, I just think there's not many high quality, high caliber keepers in the game anymore. Okay, Alisson Becker, yes. Yacine Bono, yes. 𝙀𝙀𝘿𝘾𝘼𝙎, again, I watch him in Ligue 1. I think he's really good, but people go and say, oh, maybe it's not the strongest thing out there. Thibaut Courtois, 100%. Gianluigi Donnarumma, for me, should be the winner, especially for what he did in the latter parts of the season with PSG. The shootout, the big saves against Aston Villa, against Arsenal, Liverpool as well. I think he should win it. But again, there's one specifically, Emiliano Martinez. What the flip is this guy doing here? Again, this is PR. This that Prem Tart. I can't see it. This that Prem Glaze, Prem nonsense. What is he doing here? If I'm not mistaken, I saw a stat. I think it was DSK said it on one of his videos that of all the top six, of all the teams that finished in the top six, Aston Villa conceded the most goals. What the heck is he doing here? What the heck is he doing here? Matt Sells, I didn't watch much of Nottingham Forest, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't know, but I heard it was pretty good. David Raya makes sense. Jan Sommer, 100%. Jan All Black, again, I mean, I think it's sort of just to round it up. But again, what is Emiliano Martinez doing here? What the flip is he doing here? Get this disgusting nonsense out of here. Oh. And then finally, to end off with the Kopa Trophy, 𝙀𝙖𝘖𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙍, Paulo Cubarsí, 𝙬𝙬𝙬 Estival, 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝘖, MLS, Rodrigo Mora, João Neves, 𝙬𝙬𝘾𝘼𝙬𝘾𝘖, and Nkana Yildiz. And I think the first thing is that I thought that this award was like the whatchamacallit, the Golden Boy, where you can only win it once, but it seems that that's not correct. It's a relatively new trophy that only began like its ascension in 2018, which for a grand scheme of things is not all that long ago. And a player's never won it twice, even though they very much could have. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm going and thinking 2018 Mbappe won it. 2019, if I'm not mistaken, it was what's his name? 𝙁, de Ligt, if I'm not mistaken, or was it de Ligt? Well, anyways, whoever it was, I just feel like there was another year in there where Mbappe was still, because Mbappe won it in 2018. He was 19 at the time. And it's an under 21s trophy. So he had, 2 years where he could have still won it. And in those 2 years, he was the best under 21 years old. So again, I don't understand. Maybe they changed the rules or something. I'm not here. I'm not here. If this is the case, though, I think it's pretty hard pressed to say. People might say this and the other. I think it's pretty clear that Lamine Yamal should win it. He's in the conversation, crazy as it may be, for a top 5 Ballon d'Or podium. And I don't think that anybody else on this list should be that high. So the moment that he's in that conversation and that his closest competitor, I would say, is 𝙬𝙬𝘬𝘀, is realistically top 10 Ballon d'Or, pardon me. And that's being, pretty generous and kind to him. I think it's difficult to go and have him there. João Neves, good shout. I like that he's in there. But yeah, I think Lamine Yamal most likely will win this one. No issues. I'm not sure how it would work. I don't think it's going to happen either way. That can you win the Ballon d'Or as well as the Kopa Trophy? There doesn't seem to be a rule that says you can only win one or the other. But yeah, I think this one's going to be for Lamine Yamal, and those are basically it. But yeah, overall though, I mean, the list is what it is. I would have thought that there's going to be minimum 10 PSG players. I thought the 11 was going to be hard, but I thought at least 10. All right. For me, 𝙁𝙁𝘾 needs to be there. For me, low-key, again, I say it, 𝙁𝙁𝘾 should realistically, for me, I think had a more overall complete season than 𝙬𝙬𝘬𝘀. Because yes, you could say 𝙁𝙁𝘾, wasn't really integral, a starter in the latter half of the season, but he was still there. He was still coming on in games. Crucial. He has the most assists in big 2025. He's got similar GA to a Vinny Jr. How is he not on this list? And especially when you look at the criteria. Individual performances, big, decisive character, team achievements. He's got that over Vinny. He's got that over 𝙁𝙁𝘾𝘼. Yet they're still in. That's what I mean. That's a disgusting dog Madrid PR. And the fact even from Madrid, how is somebody like Jude 𝙁𝙁𝘾𝘼 and Dogny Jr. at this point? How are they in it? Fede Valverde's not in there. How is Denzel Dumfries in there, but not Jules Koundé? Just things in there. Bastoni should be in there. Whatever. I mean, listen, we'll see. As things stand, we're what? The 7th. There's over a month until the ceremony itself. I think now these 30, France Football is going to go and give out these lists and find the 100 journalists from the top 100 FIFA ranked countries and allow the journalists from each of these countries to go and vote. And we will be hoping for the best. And yeah, hopefully no issues, no fugaziness, no disgustingness. And again, I'll go and make videos further on my predictions and how things are going to land, and probably do maybe like a mock or my top 10 for the Ballon d'Or and all the other trophies, my predictions, but that is to come. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This video with a different background, but hopefully I got the camera, I've got the microphone, so hopefully things sound okay, and the grind continues, never stops. And with that, thank you very much. And remember, stay safe, stay kind, and stay blessed. Godspeed.